Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to give it 1 or 2 more minutes just to let a couple of stragglers get in here, and then we'll begin the presentation. All right, we can go ahead and begin. This presentation is going to be available to everybody as well, so if someone misses the beginning, they can always check out the presentation afterwards. Again, hello, everybody. My name is Eric Altman. I'm sales engineer at Vodia Networks. I'm joined today by Tommy Lee, VP of Sales at Fanvil. And we're going to talk about hospitality phones, and Vodia as a hospitality system, tying in with a property management system and all that. So some exciting stuff to talk about. Again, the presentation, I believe you can see it over on the right-hand side. So you can take it from there and download it. And there's also a place to ask questions over on the top right. So if anybody wants to ask any questions, just throw them in there and we'll deal with the questions as we get to the end. All right. And Tommy, you can go ahead and go to the next slide. All right. So our agenda today, we're going to talk about Vodia, talk about the Vodia PBX, why Vodia and Fanvil, our ecosystem, the Vodia ecosystem and Fanvil. And like I mentioned, probably the highlight of today on the Vodia side and on the Fanvil side is the hospitality and the idea of tying in with that. And then Tommy will come in. He's going to present about Fanvil and talk about the products they have, the hotel IP phones, as well as two-wire hotel products that Fanvil has as well. Next. All right, so Vodia PBX, I mean, we've been around, this is 2005. It's probably earlier than that, although Vodia itself, I think, is closer to 2015, somewhere in that range. But we were founded by industry pioneers. Some of you know, the CEO and developer of Snom Phones is our CEO. We do focus on cloud PBX, but we work on-prem as well. But I'd say most of our resellers and MSPs are selling through the cloud because that's just what people are doing today. We are a true multi-tenancy product, so that means one instance of our PBX in the cloud can host hundreds of customers. There are different factors as far as what's the maximum you can host, but some of the things we talk about are like simultaneous calls, how many of those are going on, and things like that. We have an actual document that says, hey, based on these many calls, you probably want to set up the server like this. Again, you're only setting up one server, so a lot of savings there. You don't have to do a server for every new customer that you have. This is our own software, so before you ask, it's not based on Asterisk or anything like that. So we are proprietary software. So the Vodia PBX, we do want to maintain that separation of private life and business work. So, you have the ability to put yourself on do not disturb, whatever needs to be done so that you don't have to be bothered during your private life. But when you're during business time, you're completely engaged, or at least I am. As far as reduced time spent finding the right person, I mean, this is probably kind of relating to call center functionality. So we do support call center functionality, which helps people get to the right person in the right amount of time, and also allows callers to hear not just hold music, but potential brand messaging while on hold. I mean, that's all kind of part of the queues while they're waiting. They can hear some good information there. Um, Downtime shouldn't result in lost calls or increased admin costs. There are ways to back up the server, have a failover ready to go, just in case that happens. It shouldn't, but if it does, you want to be ready. And you can communicate with your clients on their cell phones. Obviously, everybody talks on their cell phones. Some people don't even have landlines anymore. But the nice thing now is in the industry, the SIP trunk providers now support SMS. So you basically can text from your business number. So that means you can communicate with your customers by calling them on their cell phone and by texting them. So we're seeing a lot of applications for that. I think businesses love that. We have a list of the carriers that we support for that. They need to support it, and then we need to support them in the PBX, and there's all kinds of documentation on setting this up. Features here, I mean, this could be 10 pages long. Obviously, extensions, mailbox, auto attendance, ring groups and ACD groups, conferences, as well as paging. I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg as far as the features that we have. Next slide. So why Vodia and Fanvil? I mean, Fanvil does have a history and a stellar reputation for making quality devices. So we enjoy working with them for that reason alone. And I mean, all your PBX installations, they have a need for the right blend of devices as well. And that's a great thing about Fanvil and something we'll be talking about today, or Tommy Lee will be talking about, a mix of phones to suit all kinds of installations. I mean, that's key. That means you can just do Fanvil phones and you can support the hotel, you can support the staff, all kinds of different things. And again, one of the best things is Vodia makes it easy. In a lot of cases, it's a zero touch to bring those devices online. So that becomes quick, simple, easy to get everybody provisioned and registered. Next. Vodia ecosystem, again, multi-tenant PBX. We support pretty much any SIP trunks. I mean, there's 50 that are in the system that you can choose, but when you choose them, you're basically just choosing the template of what they need. Are they looking for an IP address? Are they looking for registration type of information? And there's also an other choice. So if your SIP trunk provider that you use is not on the list, there's still a very good chance that we can continue to work with them just using the other choice. Caller ID, only limited there by what the carrier will pass through. Obviously, it's all about the PBX functionality since we are a PBX. I talked a little bit earlier about queues and ring groups, so a little bit different, but the same idea, calling a group of people, either queuing it or going from stage to stage. Conference server built in, so you can schedule conferences as well as do ad hoc conferences, take inbound calls, make outbound calls, and obviously we support Fanvil desk phones, hotel phones, and the DEC cordless phones as well. Next. So now we're getting into the meat of this hospitality system. So personalized guest experiences, seamless and efficient. I mean, we're seamlessly integrating with PMS, being property management system software. We don't hook up to all of them, but we hook up to some of the top ones in a later slide. I mentioned some of those. But if you're working with a hotel out there and they have a property management system that we haven't worked with yet, just let us know. We'll find out if there's some open APIs, some hooks, so that we can get in there and tie those two together. And again, in a slide that's coming up, we talk about why that's important and some of the things that you can do once those are tied together. This can be done on-prem by an MSP, or in some cases with some high-end hotels, they want to work with Vodia directly. That's fine as well. And security is always our middle name. So obviously this is going to be built with the highest level of security to ensure compliance with all the global data protection regulations. And we can provide certifications for professional setup and operation of the system within the hotel network. Next. So why integrate? With our unique integration framework, again, we can do this smoothly for all major hotel processes and ensuring efficiency, consistency. I mean, we're seeing communication across the guest and staff, seamless check-in and check-out, guest services, and even a sales call center, which a lot of hotels have. People taking reservations. So, that it technically is a call center, whether it's 2 people or 20 people, it's a call center, and we offer that functionality. Next. All right, so here, this is one of my favorite slides, just because we're talking about some of these hospitality features. You know, a lot of times when I tell people that Vodia, supports hospitality, like, okay, what does that mean? So here it is. I mean, checking in and checking out. So when someone checks out, it's going to automatically clear the voicemail box, clear the call list, any data, and get it ready so that when the next person checks in, they've got everything clear and ready to go. You can define credit limits for guests. So how much can they actually spend on long distance calling? We can sync up do not disturb between the room and the phone system. Emergency calling can be redirected to the front desk so that they can make that call and tell them the room and all that kind of stuff. A big one is housekeeper codes, allowing the maids to use the phone by putting in a code to let people know or let the staff know, hey, this room's clean, it's ready for somebody to check in. And we can charge for the calls that are made, so we have a way to do that. And we can define restrictions, so maybe numbers that the guests can or can't call, including hotel extensions and/or external calls. And I don't see one that's on here that's another big one, which is obviously to set up wake up calls. So that's something that can be done through the PBX as well. Next. Device support. I mean, we support analog devices through gateways. So we support several analog gateways, as well as specialized devices that use analog lines. So it gives them a VoIP phone experience because everything is VoIP these days. But if you have analog devices or if they have analog devices, we can connect to those through gateways. Um, the guest's cell phone can be associated with their room. So the phone system will use this to display the guest names to staff when calls are made. There could be in-house apps, and Vodia could be part of those apps, or we can offer the Vodia app itself, the mobile app. So while people are staying in that room, they'd be able to make and receive calls through their cell phone through the Vodia app. And as far as VoIP phones, I mean, we're talking about that today. We feel that Fanvil has a great variety, great choices to choose from, but obviously there are other phones out there as well. So we'll pretty much support them all. Obviously VoIP phones we're supporting, and like I said, even analog phones can be supported through gateways. Next. So like I was just saying, app support. So you can have it auto log in to the hotel network, easy access to offerings like the restaurants or cafes, dial for reservations, communication features, if you want to make room calls or call the front desk, and hotel services. I mean, there could be service packages, excursions, shuttle, airport transfers, things like that. So special speed dial buttons can allow you to set those things up. So can really use Vodia's app while you're staying at the hotel, which is kind of nice. Next. And okay, so here's some of the property management systems that we do integrate with: Oracle, Hospitality Suite, Protel, Casona, Citadel, Surgy, and Logotel. Those are the ones we currently integrate with for all those things that I just talked about. Again, there's a million others. I know that because I was at the high tech hospitality show last week, and it was a big show with a lot of people. There's a lot of people in the hospitality industry, and obviously AI is the big thing. But I noticed a lot of other um, PMS integrations that we could potentially do. So, and what does that mean? Again, it allows the staff to set room check-in status and guest names. The do not disturb can be synced up. Room numbers and hotel room extensions can be different. So in other words, it might be like dial 6 to call a room, 6 plus the room number or something like that. And we talked about the using codes to set the room status and generating charges if need be, if someone does make some calls. Uh, and if somebody moves, we can actually move their mailbox over as well. So if someone in the middle of their stay goes to a different room, it will go ahead when the PMS, the property management uh, triggers a room change, that will move the mailbox content so that people will still have their mailbox that they had initially. Next. As I mentioned earlier, this can be run in the cloud or on-prem, even in environments where internet connectivity isn't always available. As long as you can connect those phones, they're, depending on how you're connecting and all that, you can do it on-prem or you can do it in the cloud. Runs on a variety of operating system. Simple failovers and backups. Like I said, that's something you definitely want to do just in case. Have a backup ready to go. Even a cold standby within a minute or two can be made into a warm standby and up and running. And there are a lot of monitoring tools built in to the PBX itself, as well as providing interfaces to other standard monitoring tools that can be used that are external tools from the Vodia system. Next. I think this is the last Vodia slide. So it is a complete hospitality communication system. It supports enhanced guest experiences, efficient, cost-effective operations. Again, the hotels that are using this are going to have call center functionality, numerous device types. If they're Teams users, we do support and work with Teams. Actually, our session border control is authorized by Microsoft, certified. So that's a good thing as well if that comes up. And you're going to see advanced automation. We've started building in some AI capabilities, the ability to, just talk in a normal voice when the call is answered. Hey, I need to speak to Eric, and it'll route the call accordingly. Building automation, and we do offer and always have offered multilingual support. So we're good with that as well. And with that information, hopefully that was good information for you all. I'm going to go ahead and now hand it over to Tommy Lee, who's going to take you down the Fanvil road.
Thank you very much, Eric, for the introduction. I wanted to remind everybody that those who may have came in a little late, there is a PDF version of this presentation on materials. So if you looked at your desktop, the materials download, feel free to click on it and you'll get a PDF of this presentation. Just to expand on what Eric had mentioned before, it's a lot more than just a PBX that provides a lot of phone communication throughout it, but they actually have all the tentacles that are necessary to really reach out into the back ends of the hospitality marketplace and to accommodate buildings, all of the access and the services that are needed. And that's where the differentiation comes in. But for those that are interested in looking at Fanvil, I have a very just brief slide here that kind of shows how long we've been in the industry. For those who aren't interested, who just been introduced to Fanvil for the first time, we are an endpoint manufacturer. What's an endpoint? It is really where all the back end technology touches the human finger, eyes, and ears, because that's where a lot of the technology touches the end customer. And we've been building these units since 2002, which puts us around 23 years since we've been in the marketplace. We've come a long way since we've introduced, because in the very beginning, we were in the marketplace building very high-end quality for a lot of brand names that many people in the industry know about. And then we later on, in the 2/3 of the way through, have decided to come out with our own name. So again, just emphasizing what Eric mentioned earlier, we do build the same quality devices as we built before for other major brands as well. Not only do we do IP phones, but we also provide a whole plethora, because for SIP technology, and when you go into IP, it reaches into a lot of different places besides the hotel guest rooms. And I'm going to show you all those different things as well. But not only do we do Fanvil, we also have a sub brand called Linkville. So Linkville is to Fanvil as the Blazer is to Chevy. I mean, in many cases, we have a whole spectrum full of solutions that really allow, especially for the hospitality market, to enable partners to be able to get into not only just hospitality, but to many businesses. And I'm going to show you how we end up doing that as well, because that's what we build. And there's lots of obstacles that Fanvil has developed solutions to work around those things to really enable the end customer experience. We have 3 factories located throughout the world. We have 3 factories located in both Vietnam and China, which provides the variety of manufacturing capabilities that many people are looking at to do that. And in terms of local technical support, I'm based on the West Coast of the United States, as well as local technical support as well, who's based on the East Coast. So the good news is that if you want to go ahead and give us a try, we have programs that will enable you to do that, but also have the technical support that will do that. And we also sell globally. We have well over 130 countries and regions, and also provided through global distributors and resellers throughout the world. As I mentioned earlier, Many of the products that we have go across a big thing. And not only do we do just enterprise phones, and the concentration for this presentation is really the hotel IP phones. I'll get into a little bit about talking about these phones in a bit, but obviously just to skim over some of the other items, we also do things like providing conference headsets, as well as a lot of peripherals that support that. On the security side, we also have access control, because very often hospitality environments require things like, how do you access certain rooms? How do you protect certain rooms? How do you provide intercoms to go into the pool area to enable emergency contacts for all of these things? Not only for here, but we also have speaker systems and broadcast systems. I recall a slide that Eric mentioned that they also do broadcasting. So we really found this to be a great marriage between two partners that have a broad spectrum of solutions, where we actually have the endpoints that enable people to go ahead and touch base with all of these solutions. And last but not least, we also have items that take care of healthcare, nursing calls, and all of those things, as well as coupling with all of the software that's required to remotely manage all of these solutions in front of you. To focus a little bit more about this presentation is talking about hotel hospitality phones. Obviously, we have a big solution, both cord and cordless, all around, and we have different portfolios as well as different designs that really accommodate everything that goes into the hospitality market. Not only do we have desk phones that we'll talk about a little bit deeper, but also narrowband phones that fit into auxiliary rooms, like sort of the restrooms, all of the attic rooms that can fit everywhere else. In addition, there are also many people that develop Android-based software that enable specific interfaces that go into each of these rooms. And we have narrowband as well as wideband phones that provide that wide capability into doing that. What are some of the big challenges that are deployed into hospitality? Well, very often, hospitality, you have new construction, but you also have retrofitting constructions that, based on budget restrictions, they may run into a two-wire solution. So we've actually developed gateways that enable Vodia's solution to be deployed over a two-wire solution, and that we have endpoints that will take advantage of being able to run Ethernet and IP capabilities throughout the entire, while leveraging the two-wire infrastructure within it. For those that want to go the opposite way and actually do ATA gateways, we also have a gateway as well that enable phone operation with each of the rooms. Speaking of which, let's talk about some of the corded hotel IP phones. Again, I'm not going to talk about all the different features, but the good news is where we differentiate, we actually have some hotel phones that have different screen displays. What are the advantages? The advantages is that you don't necessarily avoid the standardized faceplates, so that you can actually load the hospitality logos, the addresses, and all the different screens that you can modify personally by uploading a bitmap image so that you can see it in different formats of the screen. But we also have the classics in many different formats, on all the corded formats based on narrowband, as well as some of the narrow things that enable one button operation, so that you can just really pick and choose the operation that you want to have run at that particular room or guest room. We also have a cordless hotel IP phone option, and that means that if you want to get away from cords, we also have a narrowband which actually enables customization of putting all of these faceplates in, that really customizes itself throughout all the hospitality. This has all the latest features, with Wi-Fi 6 having built-in 2.4 as 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi capability, and as well as providing HD voice and all of the customization that provides that personal look, enabling the hotel guests to feel welcome at home, as well as providing programmable keys that enable them quick access to all the different services that they provide. A common link in working with hospitality, for those that are already in it, is really putting together the hotel phone. Obviously, Fanvil has made this thing very, very convenient by making a link that you can just download to our partners, and you can just customize this link, where you can go ahead and design all of the different buttons depending on all the different types of phones that you want to do. And we'll go ahead and send the templates to wherever you want to specify, so that we make it a one easy operation. So we have these services to make the customization of faceplates, all of these things, all under one roof moving forward. Now let's talk about the Fanvil two-wire IP product, especially in hospitality. Very often hospitalities are limited to budget restrictions. They just don't have the ability that says, look, I don't want to upgrade the buttons just to do a thing for IP phones. You need to take advantage of what we have. And what we have is actually a gateway that do 1 port, 8 port, and 24 port that fits into where the internet comes into hospitality. And then throughout all the rooms, you have the analog lines that go into all the rooms. Well, the good news is that we have these connectors that will allow the connection to all these 66 blocks that go throughout all the rooms. And we've actually designed rooms both in the business environment as well as hospitality environments with an RJ11 jack, enabling direct connection into all of these rooms while minimizing the CPE type of deployments that are available through other solutions as well. For those that have one-off requirements where they have to put off one-way gateways through elevators, through access control, we have one ports as well. So depending on what challenges you are facing, we have the solution that will fit your specific needs. I always say that a picture is worth 1,000 words. With the two-wire hotel application, all of the items that you see here that's in red lines depicts the two-way application. Everything in green pretty much depicts anything that's required for a Cat5, which typically involves everything that goes up into the router and the local switch. Once we do that, you can pass the switch off onto our gateways, which will provide IP access throughout all the different rooms up to 900 feet. So we could actually spec up to 900 feet using our ideal phones that have been optimized for these things. And then you may have the one-offs where you may have access control or intercom control to an elevator, and you can use a one-off switch where you can provide that access to either access control, intercoms, or whatever have you. And then we also have solutions that will address the reception that will tie all of these things into one screen, enabling the front desk person to know exactly who's calling them when that moment comes. Last but not least, if you want to go ahead and test drive our products, everybody wants to go ahead and do a dry run. If it's not listed, we actually have an NFR program, which is a not for resale pricing, which enables just really almost an at cost program, enabling partners just to go ahead and test drive not only our business phone, but hospitality up to about 60% off, enabling you a really good vehicle for you just to test drive and see whether it works on all the solutions that you have above. So having said that, you would just need to reach out to myself or any of our distributors, and they'll go ahead and entertain that for all. Now I'll go ahead and now share the screen along with Eric as well on both Vodia, where to get help. Here are all the different links and resources to get access for both Vodia as well as Fanvil. And again, even with support, Vodia is actually based up in Boston. We're also based in the United States here as well in both commercial and technical support. And these are all the links, and you can just download this from the material site so that you have access to a soft copy as well. Now, having said that, both Eric and I will be available to answer any questions. In the plugin, there should be a question box to which you could put in your questions, and that we'll go ahead and stay online to address any questions that you might end up having. And looking at the questions, let me see if I have any questions here. Hang on just a second.
See any on my
So
end, but
Yep, so far,
sh-
no questions so far.
okay,
We'll just wait around and hang around should anybody have
okay.
any questions.
And
The thing
I do want to add to what Tom and Lee was saying about their NFR program and the ability to try things. I mean, we offer that. Those are two separate things for us. The NFR usually comes in later once we know that you're a partner and you want a not for resale system that you can test on. But we do offer for MSPs, ITSPs, resellers. We will offer a 60-day free license, so you can basically test everything you need to test. You get a full license, full featured. And if everything works good in those 60 days and you want to continue on with Vodia, you don't even have to switch anything out. We just start billing it from the 61st day. So we make it real easy for you to test it, to see if it's something for you. And if it is, to just continue to use it, no interruptions, and then just start getting billed for it after the first 2 months, which are free.
Yeah, some questions are coming in now, Eric.
Okay.
I guess one it says, "Hello, thanks for presentation. Regards to Vodia, what I guess what let me see. Do you support resellers, and what margins does resellers get from the sale, I guess, from Vodia?
Okay. We absolutely support resellers. We work with resellers only. The idea for Vodia is we are the manufacturer of the software. So we use our resellers and MSPs to take our software, combine it with SIP trunks, combine it with Fanvil phones, and create the whole package for the customer. We work a little differently. We do have our on-prem license, which is kind of where you would have certain margins and discounts, based on your level as a reseller. But for the cloud-based, the 60-day thing I was just talking about, all of that, it's not really based on discounts. There is a price per extension. There are different extension types, so it's a different price for that. Uh, Reach out to me. I'm glad to share the full pricing. But the idea here is that you're just paying a small amount for an extension. And in most cases, MSPs and resellers are turning around and they're charging 15, 20, 25. I've seen it as high as $50 per extension. That's a little high, but with a lot less than that, you can make a big margin based on the amounts that we're charging for the extension. And that's it. That's the only charge from Vodia is a per extension charge. Everything else is going to be through the carrier, through the phone vendor, whatever it might be. But our costs are very simple and they're just for the per extension, per user extension, not any extension, not an auto attendant, not a queue, but per user extension is what you're paying with Vodia.
Great, Eric. Another question just came up. Another gentleman raised a question. I think this is targeted more towards Fanville. He says, I'm currently quoting a 65-room hotel and planning on using the two-wire. I'm assuming the phones will just show as an IP on the network. You're absolutely correct. Once you hook in the system together, the switch that we have is really an unmanaged switch. So once you got the gateways as well as our phones put together, the phones will just appear as though the hotel has, in essence, a loaded Cat5 or Cat6 cabling throughout the hotel. So it will show up as an IP on the network, and you should be able to deploy it and exercise all the different IP options that you have available. So the answer is yes. Okay, another question came up. Let's see. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Okay. There's a question that came in that states, please explain the benefits of guest cell phone integrates into Vodia.
Sure. The cell phone allows you to download a mobile app for free. And so, depending on the calling experience you're looking for, you can have this app that is tied in to the hotel phone system. So, you can see things on the app. You can control your calls, things like that. So anything you could do with our app could potentially be used as if this is like a business with a phone system, and you're one of the employees, but instead you're one of the guests, and now you have access to that. So from your cell phone, you'd be able to access certain services. It could be something that's like embedded within the hotel app. So I think as we move forward, you're going to be able to check into a hotel and load the hotel app, and within that hotel app will be your calling app as well. So if you want to make a call and you don't want to use one of the Fanvil phones, you can always use your cell phone, and it'll be the same thing. And if you call from your cell phone app to the front desk, they're going to see your name. They're going to see it just as if you're calling from a room phone. So it's basically emulating an extension, and that extension is your cell phone. So it just gives you the option to use that if that's what you're more comfortable using anyway, which most of us are.
Great, Eric. Another question just rose, more related to Vodia. This person states, Vodia is a software-based PBX on-premise installation. Is it a one-time purchase or monthly for the, I guess, on-premise installation?
So for the on-prem installation, you're typically that's usually done as a package. I talked about the per extension. So in our cloud, it's per extension. It changes every month. You add people, you take away people, whatever it is, you're going to be billed every month that way. With the on-prem, you could do that, but you could also do one of these packages. So in other words, a package might be 10 extensions and an enterprise level of features, whatever that might be. Now, what you're doing is you're paying for a year. Some people like to just pay that up front. I mean, this is considered a prepay. You're either paying up front or you can set it up to auto debit out of your credit card every month. So if it's $120 a year and you would rather pay it at $10 a month, you can set that up when you initially purchase the license and say just bill me at the beginning of each month for that amount. And there's no contracts. So honestly, I encourage people to do it that way because if it does come down for some reason, you need to cancel it, you need to stop it. It's real simple. There's no refunds given or anything like that because you're just paying it month to month. So that one month you decide I don't want to do this anymore, you don't pay us, and we're even. So that can be done as a monthly, but it is really a yearly that you're splitting up. Whereas our multi-tenant, what I was explaining before, is absolutely monthly. You can't do it yearly, and you can't do it automatic because with that one, your extensions could change every month. But that's a post pay. It looks at the previous month, how many extensions did you have, and then you're billed based on that.
Great. The next question is more related to Fanvil.
Okay.
One person asked, the H603W has an RJ45 port too, or does the handset connect to the hotel Wi-Fi? The answer is yes and yes. The connection to it is also an RJ45 that connects to the base station, but also the handset itself is also a Wi-Fi connection to it. So that's why we call it a cordless IP phone, so that you can connect it to the hotel network. And in addition to that, the handset speaks to the base station through a wireless network as well. So when you look at it, it has a built-in 2.4 and 5 gigahertz as well, and really has really two different options. The good news about this as well is that on the side you'll also see here that it has a USB A and USB type. I think the standard connection, USB-C too as well, I think, to really enable phone charging. A lot of people walk around with cell phones, so that this actually has peripherals in addition to our desk phones, that you can actually plug in a mobile device that enables charging capabilities in each of the room as well, which is a nice benefit. Those cords and those connections don't connect to the network for security reasons, but it is a cord that will enable guests to kind of plug in their cord and be able to charge their mobile phones too. Not only do this thing support Wi-Fi access as well, but many of our desk phones also have wireless capabilities, so that if you don't have an RJ45, which all of them do, you could also connect our desktop phones to the Wi-Fi network should each of the room that you want to access don't have it as well. You could tell that by looking at the W's, where the H4, 5, all the W's have Wi-Fi access moving forward. Hope that answers that question. Let's see. Another question that came up? What makes Vodia and Fanvil apart? Again, given other competitors as well.
What sets us apart? I mean, from the Vodia side, like I mentioned in one of the slides, we know that Fanvil is making quality devices. We've worked with them for a long time, and the ability to provision them quickly with potentially zero touch. Um, those are some of the things that separate using another phone that you have to go into the phone GUI, go into the PBX, make all these changes, and eventually hope that it gets provisioned properly. And we don't have any of those issues with Fanvil, so we enjoy working with them. And now, especially with the variety, because now not only is it just your desk phones and decked phones, but you have these hotel phones, which are a little bit different and a nice addition to their portfolio. That's from the Vodia side.
Got it. Um, Another question that came up related to PoE. Does that phone support PoE or need power adapter? Practically all of our phones support PoE. For those that don't, a power adapter will be included by those. So it really depends on the model that you're looking for. I would highly suggest you go into if you're looking to our 603, I don't know it off the top of my head. The 603, we typically provide provisions to support both power supply as well as Ethernet connections on all of our things. And when they do support PoE. If for some reason that it doesn't support PoE, we will typically include a power supply so that you come fully loaded and there's no assumptions that you can make in deploying our phones onto the site. What is the minimum purchase for the faceplates? That's a good question. For the faceplates, if you actually procure 50 or above, Fanvil will actually support the faceplate customization for free. If not, I don't remember what the to be, but there's just a small NRE fee. I won't talk about the fees here, but it is a small NRE fee if it's less than 50. And in either case, it's just something that we just cover the cost that we use to really print out the faceplates and handling all the shipping and all that to the end partner. So far, I think that is it. Okay, given that, Eric, I don't see any more questions. With that in mind, I
Okay.
want to thank everybody on the Fanvil side for your time. And if you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to me and Eric. As our contact information was done at the front page. You can download a soft copy of this presentation on your materials plugin on your desktop. Reach out to us and ask us any further questions if you want to do a deep dive.
I'll go ditto on that. So ditto.
Yep.
Thanks,
All
Tony.
right,
I appreciate
exactly.
it.
Well, thank
All
you
right.
everybody for your time. Go ahead, Eric.
Nah, I was just gonna say the same thing. Thanks everybody for joining us today. I appreciate it.
Take care. Have a good
All
day.
right. Take care. Bye.
Bye bye. Okay, one person that raised up, for those who want to listen further, one asked about OEM or Fanvil. If you decide to OEM any of our brands, you would have total control so that even if it were to power up, we could really enable the boot logo to reflect any particular brand. If you want to speak a little bit further, give me a call and we'll be more than happy to speak with you a little bit deeper on branding any of the phones that you want. So there are different levels of OEMing, and depending on the level of OEMing you want, we can go ahead and accommodate that. All right. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.